Hello, good morning. I'm joined by my guests today from Face for Business, Abby and Mike. How you doing?
Hello, you're right.
Yeah, very good, thank
Yeah.
you. You?
And we've got some of Abby and Mike's customers with us as well, which could either be really awkward or really amazing, depending on what they've got to say about you guys. So I'm joined by Aurelia from Robinson Estates. How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really well today. And Simon Gregory from Parker's. Hi, Simon.
Hi, David.
So it goes without saying that our business has always been a bit of a contact sport in terms of, as estate agents, we're always there at the end of a phone. That really was always the principal source of inquiries over the years. And it's still very, very popular. If you need to get a message across, the best way to do it is by picking up the phone and talking to somebody. And we're only, we're only one person. We can only do so much, and we juggle an awful lot during our day-to-day lives as estate agents. So I think what really sort of helps to pick up that slack sometimes and give us cover is a really professional telephone answering service. And it sounds daft that we're still sat here in 2024 talking about that, but it's really relevant. So I'm going to talk to Aurelia now for a second in terms of how you came to find Face for Business in the first place.
We had an answering service already, and we were disappointed with a number of things with the business that we were with. And I logged into Kerfuffle and trialed 5 different answering services and found Face for Business was the fit for our business.
Oh wow! So you've tried them all and you've decided that this is the one. So you've been on the telephone answering dating circuit basically.
That's it. That's it.
You've seen the best and the worst. So you're probably really sort of well placed to answer this question, because the next question I would ask you is if you've used another telephone answering service in the past and how you found it. So let's, before we turn to what Face for Business are doing for you, maybe you can tell me what makes a bad telephone answering service. So what didn't you like about the others?
The other service that we had, the original one we had, was initially on a call by call cost. So we were only paid for each call a certain amount. They then went to a timed service, and we found suddenly telephone calls were taking a really long time.
Really?
And having comments like, oh, I'll just go and see if I can transfer the call. We don't transfer calls. Or I'm downstairs, I'll just check if they're upstairs, things like that, to actually lengthen the call so that they could get more money, basically, which was we found a dishonest practice.
Not only a dishonest practice on your side of things, but I would imagine a really frustrating experience for the customer as well, especially if they're left holding and waiting. It can be worse than actually ignoring the call altogether.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Simon, tell us about your experience of previous answer phone services.
Yeah, so we had used 2 before Face for Business. The first one that we used, we didn't necessarily have a problem with, to be fair. They were just quite expensive. And as a result of that, due to our group, we got offered a different, I won't name and shame, but we got offered a different business to engage with, which we did. We were with them for probably the best part of 2 years, but we were finding there were just a lot of silly mistakes, telephone numbers not being taken down properly. We were finding some of our customers were complaining that the person at the end of the phone that was taking the message on behalf of Parker's estate agents sometimes were a little bit rude or abrupt or perhaps not very informative. We flagged it on quite a few occasions, and the service didn't really get any better. And I bumped into young Abby at the EA Masters 3 years ago. And yeah, we were looking for another option basically, so we sort of fell into each other really, and yeah, I've not regretted it. They've been fantastic.
But and that's the key to it. You just said it there, that really for some customers, that first bit of telephone contact might be the first time they've ever interacted with your company.
Yeah.
And who fronts your company, that face for your business, is so important because they represent your company. So if they pick up the phone and they're not enthusiastic, or they're not engaged, or they don't seem knowledgeable, then again, it can be worse than ignoring the call altogether, because a call handled badly can sometimes lose you a customer for life. Whereas, you know, if you miss a call, they may call back. So I guess that's important to both of you, who represents your business on the front line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem at all.
So Abby and Mike, you obviously been listening into this. Great feedback and lovely to hear that you compare well against others. When you talk about the service that you provide to estate agency clients, what is the key to keeping that kind of enthusiasm and knowledgeability when you're answering those calls?
I think that actually starts with the recruitment process, to be honest. You know, it's our recruitment process. We obviously take on people we have an instant feel they'll be a great fit for our ethos as a company. You know, we pride ourselves on the customer service, so it's really important that throughout that interview process that we get that feel that, right, okay, yeah, they're going to be a great fit for us, and they understand what we're trying to do, and that our role is so important. That one call that we may have handled for one business in one day could really change, you know, it could really change how the customer journey going forward. So I think personally it starts with the recruitment process, as well in the training, as well as obviously, you know, the peers having that natural enthusiasm and bringing that to each call. It's important that the peers understand the business and what our client is wanting us to do for them on that call. So on the onboarding process, we kind of go through the ins and outs of a sneeze. We like to know kind of everything, you know, and the eventuality, if it is brought up, that comes from questions that we ask the client and stuff that we say, you know, actually from experience. We get a lot of questions about this. It's okay if you don't want us to give them a direct answer or how you want to manage their expectations. We just need to know all of that, really, so we can keep the calls, you know, as concise as possible, as you mentioned earlier. You know, we've got no interest in kind of saying the wrong thing and keeping people on the line for too long. But we're not just going to be really abrupt with people and be like, oh yeah, you know, I've got all I need to know, let's get off the call. It's finding that call control, which, you know, it is in the training. So it's a kind of mixture of recruitment, the onboarding process, and the continual kind of call coaching and training.
And to Aurelia and Simon, have either of you had sort of feedback from your customers on your call answering? Is it something that people sort of comment to you that is particularly well handled?
So you go, Simon.
Okay, I think as we said earlier, Face for Business represents Parker's, so the fact that our customers don't necessarily know that they're talking to an out-of-hours service is the best feedback that I can get. I think, again, the experience I had with the last company was it's the amount of people just like, I'm assuming I've just gone through to someone who's just taking messages for you out in business, but I don't get that feedback. So that's imperative to me. Obviously, the fact that I'm not getting people commenting that I've got an out-of-hours telephone answering service is the best feedback that I can have. But from my staff's perspective as well, the feedback from them has been very, very good. Obviously, it's important when someone is taking a message that message is reaching the right person. The amount of times, again, with previous experience we've had, that a message was getting sent, because we've got 50 odd employees under my umbrella, that we've got multiple Simons or Peters or Pauls, etc. If that message is getting sent to the wrong person and that person isn't getting called back, again, that's an issue for us. So we've certainly not had that problem with Face for Business. We found them very efficient.
You are preaching to the choir. I worked in a business that had 5 Davids, and when everybody called and left a message, it was sometimes a lottery if it would get to the right person. Aurelia, similar sort of experience for you?
Well, it's interesting because we actually are very upfront with the fact that we have an answering service. We're an extremely small business, so we don't want people to think that there's a receptionist downstairs who's able to get hold of us at the minute. There's 4 of us. So it's easy to identify who. And Mike did something for us right at the start, because we all wanted to get the same message. So rather than it simply going to one person, our answering service message on the email goes to everybody at the same time, so that we sort of all know what each other are doing. So we will tell people that we have an answering service, but they also come back to say they were really great, they were concise, they got the message straight away. We've been with Mike, I think 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I have not received a negative review, which we had previously. So for us, that was also a good balance out.
And that's really, really good. So the question for all and any of you, because our business as estate agents, more than just being sort of property experts and marketing experts, it really all comes down to the communication. And we're living in this day and age where AI is mentioned in every conversation, every webinar you log into, somebody's talking about how it's going to transform the future of communication in the industry. And there are, let's face it, there are more channels now to get hold of an agent. Some people use WhatsApp. You've obviously got the portals. There's online channels, numerous of them. If you were to look at social media, you know, it's mind-boggling how many places you have to be in these days in order to sort of communicate with your public. But at the core of it, to me, it still feels like that human-to-human contact is super important. So if we were to say fast forward 5 years, do you still think that's going to be at the core of our businesses? Do you think communication will ever get to a point where it's more automated, or is it good that it's human to human? So throwing that out to no one in particular, let's start with Aurelia. How do you feel about it?
I think it is so important. People need that interaction. They need the ability to express how they're feeling, and need to get some reassurance sometimes. You know, if it's, whether it's a sale going through or something's gone wrong, you don't want to type that out in a chat. You probably don't want to put it in an email. You want to talk to somebody who can give you feedback and who can say to you, it's okay, we're going to work through this, or whatever the case might be. I think it's really, really important. I don't think that will ever change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, we've all we've got live chat and AI robots and stuff like that, but we've all been frustrated, I'm sure, when you've been trying to get hold of a company to ask them a question. You just get these self-generated answers all the times, and I think sometimes it's great for them to be able to take a message or whatever, but you can't beat the real thing of actually speaking to a human that can empathise with whatever dilemma that you may have, or problem or question, etc. I think it's, yeah.
So at this stage, I'm meant to ask you both what your favorite thing about the service that Face for Business are giving you, what the favorite thing is, but you've given us so many different favorite things, each of you, that I think it's a really good sort of testament to the service that they're providing. Again, Mike and Abby, I know sometimes it could be awkward listening to feedback, but I take it you've got no problem listening to this one.
Yeah. The thing is, though, it's great listening to this, but it's a continual thing for us. You know, this is your kind of review of our service today as it stands, but we will continue to keep impressing you, and any feedback that arises will work towards putting it right if it is something that can be tweaked. So it is amazing to hear, but I'm just thinking, yeah, that's just your review, you know, we need to keep this going. So
I think as well, it's so important, because I think businesses change so often. Like Sam, you're introducing new offices, we're introducing new staff. Things have to change as well at our side to keep this level of service up, and it's just something that it's exactly what we do, you know?
Yeah, we don't take it for granted. We work towards it every day, you know, so I hope, you know, we've done a good job so far, it sounds like. So, you know,
I can only speak for myself, but I think when it comes to dealing with suppliers, because some suppliers just don't get it. They provide a service and they think that's enough, but sometimes really getting into the kind of mindset of each individual client and working out what makes them tick and what makes their businesses unique and what they might need tailoring to it, to me, takes a good service to an absolutely great service, because it's in those little details there that you get to sort of fine tune, you know, and tailor. We always say, oh, we've got a tailor-made service for you, but really you do take that into account when you onboard them.
I think as well, that's, you know, both Aurelia and Simon, both accounts are run completely differently. So even though they're both estate agents, they're not the same. And you know, the information we capture is different, the way we capture the information is different. It's just, it really is tailored to exactly what, you know, the business owner wants. So it works well, and, you know, long may it continue. Yeah,
and that good like lines of communication that we've got with both of you. You know, speaking to you like humans and not too corporate and oh yes, and what would you like that, you know, that doesn't, like, I mean, that's not the way I work, you know. I like to think that actually I've built an actual friendship with you both through work, and, you know, getting to know your businesses that way instead of it just being, you know, quite serious and right, okay, what is it that you need, has helped us, you know, build that communication and relationship to create a better service for you.
Yeah, definitely. On the tailored service, especially, Mike, I don't know whether you remember, but during our trial period, I said to you, we can't quite read this. We use a lot of things from our phone. We have Outlook messages, our emails to our phone, and we couldn't quite see the information we needed to see in the snapshot. And you reconfigured the entire message for us within an afternoon, a Friday afternoon. I said, this is not quite working for us. And you had it done by the Friday afternoon, and we're really happy with the way it looks now. So for me, that was amazing.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very much. I know that you are both really, really busy and you've taken time out on a Friday morning. I will let you chase solicitors and clients and other wonderful things that all seem to have to happen on a Friday for some reason. But I'm going to let you all go. But thank you very, very much for your feedback today and for giving us your time.
Very well.
Thanks,
Thank
David.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you.